So again, welcome everyone to the Student Orientation Online Learning. I'm Julius, and for the next hour we'll be looking at various ways to help you be a more successful online student at MiraCosta College. Alright, so what we're going to do before 6:30 is talk about different habits and attitudes that it takes to be a successful online student. We'll go over some things about selecting and getting started in an online class. Most of you have already covered that, but for the future that will be helpful information. We'll spend a little bit of time allowing you to play with some Blackboard tools and ask any questions you have about specifics of Blackboard. And finally, I'm going to show you some resources that MiraCosta offers that can help you succeed in all your classes, but they're especially useful for online because they're online resources. So I want to ask just a couple questions, and this is where you're going to use that little drop down in the participant area. So online classes are harder to succeed in than on-ground classes. Would you agree with that or not? So go ahead and use the drop down right now to choose A, B, C, D, or E. And make your choice. So I see people are already choosing, which is great. All right, you guys are doing a great job of responding. And I'm going to go ahead and show the responses. So almost, well actually all of you said C, it depends. That's good. That is smart of you all. Sometimes when I talk to people about online classes, they say, oh, online classes are easier. And some people say, oh, I heard online classes are harder. It really does depend, because someone might have an experience where an online class was easier. That doesn't mean all online classes are easier. It really depends on you, it depends on the instructor, it depends on the content. So it really depends. It's important to go into it with an open mind. If you have a friend that told you they're easier, don't expect that your class is going to be easier. If you had a friend that told you it's harder, don't expect that it's going to be harder. Okay, I'm going to clear those responses and go to the next question. So I'm curious, have you set aside a certain time every week to work on your online class? I should say your online class. So which answer is the best one for you? So the drop down, Deanna, is right underneath your name. There should be 4 icons, and it's on the right of those 4 icons. If you hover over that, then it gives you A, B, C, D, or E to click on. All right, so responses are coming in, and I'm going to show you now how you all are responding. Lots of A's, which is great, and then a few of you in other categories. So I highly recommend that you do set aside multiple times per week on a regular basis. Make that a schedule. Let your friends and family know that those are times where it's almost like you just went to the campus to be in class at a certain time. Because if you don't do that, if you just think, oh, online will allow me to be flexible, I can do it whenever I have a little time, most students have a difficult time staying committed in that way. You find other things creep in, oh, I'll work on it tomorrow, oh, I'll work on it tomorrow, and then the end of the week comes, you may have deadlines, and you may realize when you try to sit down and get it all done that you really needed more time, and you also needed to spread things out. Spend some time reading things, spend some time doing quizzes, and then spend some time doing other kinds of assignments or discussions. It's really hard to do all of that in one sitting for most classes. So bravo to those of you that have set aside 2 or more regular times per week, and I really encourage the rest of you to do the same thing. Okay, one last question here, and then I'll quit bugging you about questions. But which statement best represents how you feel about taking an online class? Again, use that drop down that's just below your name to the right, and let us know which of the answers fit best for you. All right, most of you have responded, so let's look at how that turned out. All right, so we've got a lot of A's. You're excited and you're confident. Excellent. A few nervous, excited, and a couple that say they didn't really want to take it, but you think it will be okay. So I guess what I want to say about this one is there is a lot of great reasons to be excited about online classes. They can be a different kind of learning experience. They can give you flexibility and convenience for your personal schedule. But there are times when you didn't necessarily want to take the online class, or it wasn't the best option for you, but it was the only option that was available. So if that's the case, go into it with an open mind. I'm glad no one here says you didn't want to take it and you were nervous, because when we survey students in MiraCosta about their experience as an online student, overall 90% of our students are really happy with their online classes, 90 to 95%. The 5 to 10% that have some kind of negative experience usually are students that didn't necessarily want to take an online class to begin with. And so they may not have really been prepared for what they were getting into. They may have just been nervous about it or not happy about it. And so that ends up translating to a bad experience. So if you go into it with an open mind and be prepared to learn and to put in the effort and the discipline, I think the likelihood is that you're going to have a great experience. All right. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen with Blackboard. If what you're seeing is really small or kind of looks funny, at the upper left of your screen there's something that says Scale to Fit up above where it shows my screen, and if you uncheck that, then it should look bigger and clearer. If it looks fine, don't worry about it, but if it looks kind of funny, click that Scale to Fit checkbox, and then it should look a little better. So you should see in your list of courses the Student Orientation to Online Learning. After you've logged into Blackboard, you can click on that, and that will actually take you into the course shell that's set up for this Blackboard online learning orientation. This course will never disappear from your Blackboard now that you're here. You can always come back to it. So I will walk you through this course and show you what's here and give you a chance to do some things in it, but you can always come back to it later on and review some of the things we covered. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is just that this course is oriented around modules. The course menu on the upper left of every Blackboard course is really important for you to understand as an online student, because that really tells you how the instructor has organized the course. Some instructors will have just some very generic links like content, assignments, discussion board, and you have to click to those and then look through those to find the information you need at a given time. Others might organize them week by week or topic by topic, but it's really important that you take the time to understand that course menu when you get into it. This course is organized around modules. We have 4 of them, and we'll walk through each one. This first page gives you an overall orientation to this to the little Blackboard mini course here, and we've organized it around the idea that learning to be a successful online student is a lot like learning to drive. You need technical skills, you need to learn the rules of the road, so to speak, You need to have good attitudes, and you need a lot of practice. So hopefully that makes sense. There's a little bit more detail here than you'll spend reading right now, and like I said, I'll kind of walk you through it. But if you have your own version of this open in Blackboard, then that's great. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to chat or raise your hand. And I'm looking at the chat, so if anybody asks questions, I'll be sure to catch them and respond to you. At the bottom of each of the pages in this is a link that will take you to the next module. You can use that to move through the course, or you can use these module links at the upper left. So at this point, let's go to the preparation area. So as I mentioned a few minutes earlier, the first part of what I want to talk to you about today in being a successful online learner at MiraCosta is mostly about how you get into and begin an online class. Most of you are already doing that right now, so it's not immediately relevant, but there hopefully will be some information right here that will help you in the future when you need to select an online class to do so successfully. So first of all, this page has a lot of screenshots on it. I'm going to kind of scroll through it, but there are also links here that will take you to where the screenshots come from. So if you're looking at this in Blackboard, you can just click on the links and open up the pages and look at the actual live pages if you want. First, I want to talk about the online education page. So from any MiraCosta website, if you hover over the classes area and go straight down to online education, it gives you this website that lists some important information and resources for online education. It has links to log into Blackboard and Moodle. It has a readiness assessment, which if you have not done this readiness assessment before, it might be useful to you to try it out. It has about 13 questions, and it might just prompt some things for you to think about in being a successful online learner. The main thing I want to point out is right at the top of this page is a big link that says Online Class Schedule. This is a separate listing of all the online classes and hybrid classes that MiraCosta is offering. It's outside of SURF, and a lot of students don't know about it, but I think it's a very useful thing to know about, and let me show you why. So if you were to click that link, it would open up a page that looks like this online course schedule. It lists every single online class section that's being offered, and if you were to scroll past all of the online-only classes, it would list hybrid classes. Some students aren't quite sure what the difference is. A hybrid, if a class is listed as online-only, it means that you'll be able to complete it entirely online. You won't have to do anything extra in person. If it's listed as hybrid, you might have to come to campus for some class sessions. You might have to do a proctored exam in a physical location. So that's the difference. So in addition to listing all of the classes, each class gives the instructor an opportunity to provide more information to students. So for instance, here it lists where it says instructor information about this course, the information you can find if you click on a class name, if the instructor has added this extra information. It tells you what that instructor's email is, where their office is, their office hours, and some additional notes. So in this case, this is an English class. The instructor has indicated clearly it requires 12 hours a week of work, and that is equivalent to meeting on campus for 4 hours a week and then having 8 hours of homework outside of that. It's an important thing to remember. Sometimes when students are taking an online class, they don't think about the fact that their online time is not only homework time, it's also class time. So it's a lot of time that you're committing, and this instructor is reminding you about that. The instructor also points out that work is due on Tuesday and Friday nights. So that gives you a good idea about when to expect to have to complete work. Does that work with your schedule? So like I said, not every instructor puts this kind of information in, but it's a great way to find out more about a particular online class when you're considering which classes to sign up for. And also at the beginning of a semester, if you're getting ready to start in a class that you signed up for already, but you're wanting to find out more about it and how to get started, this can be a great place to find that information. I want to point out also that you can in Surf search for online information, or online class information. So I just want to show you how that looks in Surf. When you're in Surf and you select the semester that you're searching on, you select your course or your course subject, then there's an additional search criteria area. There's a little drop down next to that that's closed by default, so you don't see all these. But if you click this little triangle and open it up, there's lots of helpful search criteria that come up. Things like what days of the week does the class meet, if it's an on-ground class, what times does it meet. So those are all useful things to help you refine your searching in Surf. And then down toward the bottom, there's a location drop-down. On that location drop-down, you can choose Oceanside classes, Santa Leo classes. You can also choose online classes. So if you select online from that drop-down and then search, you'll get only the online classes that fit the criteria that you put in up above. So then your search results might look something like this. And if you click that online descriptor that shows in the class description, that takes you over to that online education page where you can go to the schedule and find out more information about that online class. All right, just a couple more things about how you can be successful in getting started in an online class. You may not know that you can order your textbooks online through the MiraCosta bookstore. If you're in the military or your spouse is in the military, you get transferred, you still want to take a MiraCosta online class, you can order your books through the bookstore, pay a flat $7.50 shipping rate, and get all your books shipped to you. Finally, the last thing that's important to think about in getting started in an online class is making sure that technically your computer and your browser are all set up and ready to go. So our student help desk has some important resources to help you out with that. It can help you test your browser, make sure you have all the plugins that you need, and just I highly recommend that you go and do these things on your computer. Maybe not right now, but after this session is over if you haven't done it before. And a couple things that I would just say overall. One is Internet Explorer tends to be a problem for a lot of people. It's better to use Chrome or Firefox as your primary browser. And you want to make sure your browser is up to date. If you're having trouble, you may need to update Java as well. Java is an important plugin with Blackboard. And clearing your browser's cache is another thing. There's a link right here that shows you how to do that. And I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about our student help desk, and they are very helpful for these kinds of issues. So we'll review that at the end of the session today. Okay, next is to move to the skills module. So if you've been scrolling with me in Blackboard down to the bottom, you can just click that skills link. If you're in the upper part of Blackboard, you need to click on skills at the left-hand side of the course menu. And that will take you to this Blackboard area, Blackboard practice area. So this section has a number of different, basically like sandboxes, places you can play and try things out. If you have not really gotten comfortable with the discussion board, that tends to be a very important area of Blackboard for most online classes. So go into the discussion board area here, and you'll find lots of little discussions that people have already started that you can respond to or create your own new discussions. Try that out. If you're already really comfortable with discussion boards, there's lots of other tools here that are usually an important thing for a successful online student to know. How do I take a quiz or test? How do I submit assignments? How do I create a blog entry in Blackboard if my instructor is having us do Blackboard blogs? Some instructors use Turnitin for you to turn in assignments. What does that look like? How does that work? All right, Madison asked a good question. Does the discussion board only work with students to students, or does the teacher also talk to the students? So that's a great question. It's up to the teacher. In most cases, especially for online classes, the instructor is going to be involved in discussions. An instructor can choose not to be involved, but an important part of an online class is the instructor being very present and engaged with the students. So the discussion board is probably the most common way that most instructors will do that. They might set up some discussions that are really supposed to just be for students to work with each other, maybe to work in a group together, and they won't stick their nose in. But typically most kinds of discussions about course content where the instructor wants you to kind of work something out, give your opinion, go back and forth, figure something out, the instructor is usually going to get involved at some point in that kind of a discussion. All right, any other questions about Blackboard? One thing to keep in mind is that our Student Help Desk is a great resource, and I'm about to talk more about that. So they are always willing to help students figure out anything related to Blackboard. And they also have some great resources that I'll share with you in a second. So I'm going to move on now to this final area after the next area after skills, which is the knowledge area. Knowledge of key student support resources. If anybody wants to follow along in Blackboard, you can do that. This will be an area, again, though, where I'm kind of talking you through some things. All right, so the knowledge of key student support resources. This is where I want to just share with you some things that MiraCosta provides for students that are great resources, not only in an online class, but just about any class. So I hope that after you learn about some of these things, you'll take advantage of them for all your classes. First thing is the Student Help Desk. So I've mentioned this a couple of different times now. The Student Help Desk is easy to get to from any MiraCosta web page. You just hover over that Student menu, and straight down under Student Resources, you see the Student Help Desk link. The Student Help Desk has a lot of great resources, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring that up live. So there'll be a little bit of refreshing of the screen here as I'm moving to that. So Student Help Desk. And here's what the page looks like. The main Student Help Desk page, you can scroll way down. There's a lot of information that they throw on here. What I really want to point out is on the left-hand side, these main menu tools at the Student Help Desk. First of all, under Tutorials, I'm going to go ahead and click that. And it brings up a link to a few different categories of tutorials. So the first two are probably the ones that most of you would be most interested in, Blackboard and Surf, and especially Blackboard. So I'm not going to click on it, but the Blackboard tutorial link gives you a ton of videos and text-based instructions for all different aspects of Blackboard. If you clicked any of the links from the last section when we were practicing those different Blackboard tools, it might have taken you to some of these tutorials that are linked here. So that's a great resource. If you're ever stuck trying to figure something out, just come to the Student Help Desk page and look at these Blackboard tutorials. Next thing I want to show you here are these computer tools. So browser test and requirements, we were mentioning at the beginning of the session how important it is to make sure that your computer is all set up and you have all your plugins. This page can help you find out whether you're good to go. So use that browser test and requirements tool. And finally, Contact Us. So this Contact Us menu item tells you the live support. So 8 to 7:30, Monday through Thursday, you should be able to call the Student Help Desk and get some support. There's an email that you can send anytime, and they'll email you back as soon as they can. Also, if you're on Windows, there's a little chat button at the bottom, so if somebody is live and available to text chat with you, you can do a text chat with them. I'm on a Mac, so that doesn't show up, unfortunately, for me. Also, in the library, if you come to the Student Computer Center in the library, there's always people that can help you there. All right. So I'm jumping back into the Blackboard, online learning orientation. The next section talks about just knowing what to ask your instructor. Okay, your instructor is probably not going to want to answer technical questions. That's what the Student Help Desk is for. However, if there are things that you think the instructor needs to be aware of, that maybe like the Blackboard class isn't working right, something just seems like it's hidden, the instructor expects you to do an assignment but you can't find it anywhere, that's the kind of thing you can go ahead and ask your instructor. Sometimes your instructor might tell you, oh, it's right there, you still don't see it, then try the help desk, and the help desk usually will verify that something might be hidden that the instructor thinks is visible, and the help desk will even help you convince your instructor that there's something that needs some attention. So the help desk is good in advocating for you in those kinds of situations. But usually instructors will figure that out. They'll realize that something wasn't set right, and they can fix that. So don't hesitate. If there's any confusion about content, about when things are due, about where to find things in the course, do not hesitate to contact your instructor. Instructors are generally going to be grateful that you're pointing that out. They might send out an announcement to the whole class, oh, sorry, this wasn't very clear, and they'll clarify it. So don't suffer in silence. Definitely reach out to your instructor after you've tried your hardest to figure things out. All right, third thing, I wanted to show you three other primary resources that are really useful at MiraCosta for online student support. So I'm going to go back and click through web pages a little bit. So again, there might be a little bit of slowness of refreshing, but I'll try to make sure that this is meaningful and useful to you. So from any MiraCosta web page, if you roll over students and go straight down, that's where Student Help Desk is, but right above that is Student Services Listing. So I'm going to click that. The Student Services Listing is a nice comprehensive resource here with every kind of student service that MiraCosta offers, with phone numbers and websites. So if you ever are just kind of thinking, oh, I need some help, what can I find that might support me? You don't even really know exactly what you're looking for. This is a great place to just kind of scroll through and think about all the resources that are here. Oh, there's a career center. They can help you find, an internship. Oh yeah, health services. They can, give me a checkup or something. You might not know that. So take a look at this sometime. But the three things that I really want to point out on here, first of all, are the library, then online tutoring, and then our writing center. So I'm going to click this library button, the library link, which takes me to the library webpage. It's also really easy to get to. There's a big library link at the top of most MiraCosta websites. But on this main library page, if you roll over at the upper right, this Ask Us button, what comes up is a little Ask a Librarian chat window. This is available 24/7, and you can ask a live college librarian a question and get their chat response. If you do this during MiraCosta library hours, you're probably going to be chatting with a MiraCosta librarian. If you do it in the middle of the night or on a weekend hour that the library is not open, you'll be talking to some other college librarian from another college. But they'll be able to answer your questions about things like how to do searching, what kinds of databases you might need to use, how to cite your sources, things like that. So that's available to you all the time, live librarian online, to answer those kinds of questions. Okay, I'm going to go back to that student services page, and the next thing I want to show you is online tutoring. So if you click the online tutoring link here, it takes you to our online tutoring page. We do online tutoring through a consortium, so when you're working with our online tutors, They might be MiraCosta tutors, or they might be tutors from other colleges and universities around the West. Online tutoring is available not in every subject, but in a lot of subjects. The most popular subjects here at MiraCosta for use of online tutoring are accounting, chemistry, math, Spanish, and statistics. When you log into online tutoring, which you can do from this page, you find out you can chat live with a tutor, you can submit a question to a tutor and they'll send you back by email later, and you can also submit a paper to get feedback. If you want to chat with a live tutor, there's a schedule, and the schedule looks like this. It shows you for every day of the week which subjects are available and what time there's a tutor online that you can chat live with. Again, you can use this for any class, not just for your online classes. So it adds a convenient way to get tutoring support if you're not able to come in to the MiraCosta Tutoring Center, and it also offers some subjects that our tutoring center may not tutor in. The way the writing feedback works with this online tutoring service is you submit your paper, and they will take some time to put comments into your paper, and then they'll send it back. What I really like, though, is what our own local writing center has done for online writing support. So I'm scrolling all the way down now on our Student Services page to this Writing Center link. You click that. There's a link on the left to make an appointment, and if you choose to make an appointment with the Writing Center, they give you an option to have an online appointment. If you select that, it will also have you upload your file of a draft writing assignment. But what our Writing Center does that's really cool is they will open that paper up on a computer and create a screencast where they talk to you about the paper. So they'll highlight things and they'll talk to you almost like you made an appointment and we're sitting down with a writing consultant. And they'll give you that feedback in a little video that they'll send back to you. So that's a great resource that is becoming super popular here at MiraCosta. Lots of students are using it. Deanna, thanks for your question. Yeah, the paper can be from any subject, any kind of writing. So it doesn't have to be a writing class. It could be a history class where you have to write a little essay. It could be anything where writing is part of the assignment. And the Writing Center is happy to give you feedback on it. All right, so those are the three main resources I wanted to make you aware of: the 24/7 Ask a Librarian, the online tutoring, and the online writing center. There are some other resources that are available right in Blackboard. The career services, the library online, and the writing center all have resources that you might not know about, but they're in your course list. So just like you now have this Student Orientation to Online Learning course among your Blackboard courses, you also have these career services, library online, and writing center Blackboard courses that have lots of great resources. Okay, the last thing that's in, or the last major thing that is in this last section of the Blackboard course is a video, and we're about out of time, and it also wouldn't work very well if I tried to play the video for you. So I encourage you to take a few minutes and look at this video. What it's about is how you can set up Blackboard to automatically send you notifications when things are happening in your Blackboard class. And you can send notifications to your email, to your voice on your phone, or even via text message to your phone. And you can choose to get those notifications for all kinds of things. When your instructor posts a new assignment, when your instructor posts your grade, when somebody puts something in a discussion board. You have all kinds of control over what kinds of messages you want to receive and when. So that's a really neat video to watch to learn about how to do that. That can very much help you stay focused and up to date on your class and make sure that you don't fall behind. So I really encourage you to do that. Last things on this page are just some great tips from MiraCosta Online students. Again, there's a little video here that has some great comments from MiraCosta students who've taken online classes. There's a lot of text comments here as well. And that's about it. So that's everything that's in this mini Blackboard class that I wanted to show you. Again, this Blackboard class is not going to go away from your Blackboard. You can always come back in here and review any of this.